Hi, welcome back to the Backpacker Coach. Today I have another special episode of Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, the girls missing from Panama. Today we're going to try to answer a very important question. Is it dust or is it rain? So let's get into this. Let's see whether we can figure this out.
I wanted to compare the photos that I took of rain and of dust to the case photos of Kris and Lisanne and see whether or not they look similar to rain or whether they look similar to dust. We're gonna try to go through these photos and see what we see how they look. So these first two photos, this one on the left and is my photo, and the one on the right, of course, is allegedly from the girls. What I'm trying to show here first is neither of these two pictures were color corrected or lightened at all. They are how they came out of the camera. So that's how these look. And so if you look at these are my raindrops, and these are all the little white dots, I guess we'll call them. All right, so that is the first one. So now this was lightened up, as well as they're both lightened up. And something that what we realized is that a lot of the photos that I first used, I tried this comparison, and a lot of them were lightened up too far. And so they were just all, white dots. And so I just wanted to show the difference, how this looks and how these have been lightened, but they both have been lightened up. Okay, now this next one, same thing. I only lightened this one and this one up just a little tiny bit, just enough to be able to catch what else was in the background here and my tree that's back here. But same with this one, the case photo on the right. I took just the photos that were black and only lightened them up just a little bit, just so they weren't too overly brightened. Here's one more. And same thing again. I lightened this one up just a little bit and lightened this one up just a little bit, just so there was enough to be able to see a few more raindrops, but not make all the raindrops or dust particles all completely white. But some of them, even when they're close to the camera, they are white regardless of whether or not you lighten them up or not. They're just bright, very bright white. Okay, one more. You can see how couldn't see very many raindrops close, but there's just a few that are close up there. Same with this picture, where most of them are all far away. There's only a couple that are close. And this also is something to bring up. When I was taking quite a few of these pictures, especially this one, I was standing underneath an overhang that's about 2 feet wide, and so I was protected from the rain, so I wouldn't get wet, or not very much. But then also what happens is that when you're protected by the rain, you do not get any of the larger raindrops, because you're protected by the rain, so you can only see the smaller raindrops, as opposed to this one and this one where I stepped out actually into the rain. Then you can see that there's bigger raindrops because I stepped out and was not protected anymore. Now this one I wanted to show you because of what happened to the raindrops. So if you remember on one of my previous videos, I was talking about how these raindrops, they looked like they were falling in a certain direction. And I was wrong. And reason why is it has to do with somebody moving the camera slightly, like a slight shake or a slight motion. So that's what these are, and that's also what happened here. And so these guys, all these guys, are a slight motion. So you can see that they make a little tiny streak. So I just happened to accidentally do that, as well as the camera was also the lens was getting quite wet. And so it was having a hard time focusing. So you can see this tree in the background is really out of focus now because it wasn't able to focus very well because it was starting to get water on the lens. And we'll go over that another picture further down the chain here. So those, before I finish this, so those were all my rain pictures that I did over several times that it got to rain at night, which is pretty rare for Colorado to be raining at night. It's just happened to get a few times that it was raining at night, so I was lucked out. So the next couple here are going to be the dust ones. So these, I grabbed a kind of a dusting thing and I dusted all over the house. And then I went outside and had my son kind of shake this duster thing. And I was laying down on the ground, looking up into the sky. And when the dust came down, then I tried to take the pictures, and I could also taste the dust as it was coming down. So that was fun. So wanted to show this first picture. So these first two pictures are, I believe, are unedited in respect of they're not lightened at all. So you can see that the dust particles are you can barely see them. And you can see the nice peach tree that I was also laying partially under as well. And over here you can see the particles over here. So here's another one. So this is the same picture, this one again, but what I did was I lightened it, as well as I also lightened this one. So now you can tell I just lightened this one a little bit and lightened this one a little bit. If you look at all the dust particles over here, all the dust particles are very translucent. And so if you look over here, although some of them are translucent, some of them are not. And now this was another one that I did that had a lot of dust coming down. And I lightened it up a little bit as well. And once again, you can see that I'd say 99.9% of them here are very translucent. There's only a couple there that are, solid white or close to it. And then if you look at over here, you have quite a few that are close to being solid, just to have a comparison. So this one I wanted to show you. This was back when it was raining, and so I decided I wanted to take a picture looking straight out instead of looking up. And so this is what happens when you take a picture looking just straight out. And I caught one raindrop, and then the other little tiny white specks are also the raindrops. But that's about it. So this one and this one, maybe this, is the raindrops. And that's all you can see. And so that's why I was comparing it to the large rock with the stick because we had one raindrop, and this is essentially doing the same thing, looking kind of straight out over a dry riverbed or dry-ish riverbed. Now this one I wanted to show you guys just because this is one of the ways that what water looks like when it's on the lens. And so I just wanted to have you guys look at that, and look, that is what water looks like. One of the ways water what it looks like when water's on the lens. Just a big gigantic blob. And so that was what I wanted to show you. So thanks for taking a look at my photos. I hope you got to decide on whether you think that these photos are dust or whether they are rain. You can decide for yourself. I know what I believe, and I believe that it's rain. To me, I think they look very similar to rain. I don't see why you would have that much dust coming down. Something like that doesn't make any sense to me, to have that much dust. But you may decide for yourself to see what you think. See if it looks like dust or does it look more like rain to you. Just always remember, every time that you click the like button, a tear forms in Feliciano's eyes.